Shyaml, you can introduce yourselves, then we can continue the session.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a Sunday morning, and I know it's pretty early for all of us. I would like to introduce with me. My name is Shyaml Punekar. I'm based in Portland, Oregon, and I'm a financial professional. We have experts like Surender over here and Mark, definitely. But before we get started, I just would like to highlight a few points. I'm not going to take more than 2 minutes. So, as a few people, my friends, they know that like in 2020, I lost my husband, and that time I faced the real challenges in my life. I saw the financial importance in my life. And then my journey or the challenges started. And then I started, looking for the options. How can I get the finances and stuff like that? So my first challenge was to get my finances, my estate. To get those estate funds, I had to, knock the door, attorney's door. And then my attorney said, you have to pay attorney fees, you have to file a probate. Probate may take, between like minimum 2 years, and attorney filing fees was almost $10,000 to $20,000. And to get the money, I have to put the money, from my pocket, and my pockets were tight. So no money and how to get started. Then I approached my friends like, hey, can I borrow some $10,000 to $20,000 from you guys? And then they understood my situation. Okay, no husband, no money, nothing. Let's, open a GoFundMe for her. And that's how my journey started. So just to open a probate and get the money, I had to open a GoFundMe. And I couldn't raise a lot of money out of it. So, and all of this, like it was just a small problem, and we have the solution already on hand. And that's how I wish I would have had this will that time, will and trust. But it's never too late, right? So that's why today's date, even no matter whatever the issues I faced, challenges in my past, but I'm here to secure my life, my family, and my daughter. And that's how I really, today's date, I'm very happy and I'm safe, and I can sleep at night without any hassles. With this note, I would like to introduce Surender Reddy, who is my business partner. He is the CEO and the founder of SurefinBiz Financial Services Company, and who is in Virginia, an entrepreneur and business coach in our financial service industry. So thank you so much for everyone for listening to me, and I would like to hand over it to Surender Reddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Shyaml, for your warm welcome and interaction. So, hi, good afternoon and good morning to everyone. This is Surender from Virginia. I am a licensed financial professional and entrepreneur for the and business coach for the financial services. Actually, what we do here is we are offering financial services. We are a financial services marketing company. And just I would like to introduce my company here so that you will be familiar what we are offering. So a lot of times financial services means we cannot correlate immediately. So people will think that some life insurance agents, some kind of the Geico insurance agents, car insurance agents kind of thing. But apart of those insurances, we do a lot of other things. Just I want to make sure you are familiar with all our services, and you can utilize us. So this is my company, SurefinBiz, and our services are here. So we manage the stock market portfolio, real estate investments, retirement in vehicles, and life, health, wealth insurance plannings, college savings plannings, and estate plannings. So you can book my appointment by going here. And our main motto is empowering the people with their finances, so that they can take wise decisions on their finances instead of depending on others. you can utilize your own knowledge and your own finances. That's what our main motto. And here also I would like to go through what we do here is am I able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
So we are empowering the people. So screen share. Yeah, we are empowering the people with their own finances. We are offering two things here: business education for entrepreneurship and financial education to manage your own portfolio of your finances. So business education means since we are a financial services marketing company, we are expanding throughout the US and Canada. We are looking for the key people so that we can have a lot of big teams where we can help a lot of our friends and families. So that's what we do. And overall, if you see any family, the family needs the wealth building strategies, right? So the 6 plans everyone needs, like protection plans, investment plans, college savings, tax savings, retirement plans, and legacy plans. So overall, the wealth building is a step-by-step process, not the overnight process. That's what we are here to help you to manage your finances and build the wealth properly by having all the plans in order. And before, so this is the last slide. Just I would like to make sure you understand what are the services we are offering. So we are offering all these plans: protection, college funding, retirement, tax planning, wealth management, long-term care, and mainly will and trust, the estate planning. That's what we are here today. I am with Mark Stirneman from the Netla company, Vice President. He is helping since 9 years, so a lot of families and so many thousands of families he helped till now. And we are leveraging his knowledge and his expertise in his company. We are affiliated with that company, Netla, and we are partnering, and we both combining and coming to all the families to protect their families. So today's session is the Will and Trust, and I'm handing to the Mark. However, the question and answers will be answered like later after the completion of the presentation by the Mark. And a lot of times there are a lot of confusions about the will and trust estate planning. So I want to make sure you take a note and have clarity after the session. So yeah, sorry Srikanth, any question? Yeah, Mark.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not on the mute.
No worries. So myself, I was having a will, and I thought that okay, will is sufficient for my life, entire my family and all. A lot of questions and confusions about the will and trust, revocable and irrevocable. All the different type of estate planning is also not aware. Lot of people. So please leverage this session to get the knowledge about this one. So Mark, the stage is yours. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Surender. Thanks for everybody for joining us today. So this will be a really informative meeting about estate planning. So we're going to talk about what estate planning is, what are all the documents included in a full comprehensive plan, and then at the end we'll talk about what happens if you don't do this, right? What are the ramifications? Kind of like Shyaml said when she went through that, and I'm sorry to hear about your husband. I didn't know that, so sorry to hear about that. But I think it's a good education because my wife passed away in 2021, so I know exactly what she went through. And we'll talk about how, even if this happens to you, how it doesn't have to be any more of a burden to you. It's already burden enough losing someone. We don't want the burden of probate and all of these creditors coming after us. So we're going to talk all about that today in about a 15 to 20 minute presentation. I'm going to share my screen and you can follow along with it. But I think this screen kind of says it all, really, without saying anything about estate planning, family, right? The reason that we create our estate planning documents is to make sure that if something happens to us, our family is taken care of. That's the #1 reason why we do that. Wanting to make sure that we protect all of our assets making sure that we want to protect our children, right? That's what we do when we create our estate planning documents. And as Surender said, my name is Mark Stirneman. I am the Vice President of Net Law. So I think the first thing we probably need to talk about is what is Net Law? So Net Law is an IT company. We are a document creation company that was created out of an estate planning law firm in Louisville, Kentucky called the Hargrove Firm. And the reason that our law firm created our sub company was because back in 2012, we read in a Bloomberg report that said that over 60% of Americans do not have their will. Over 60%, just that one document, just the will. And of course, being in estate planning, well, we didn't like reading that, right? Because we wanted to know why 6 out of 10 people are not coming to us to complete their will. Because if you ask anyone, hey, do you have your will? Most people are going to say no. But you know what they always follow up with? I know I need to do it, right? It's one of those things that we know we need to do, but unfortunately, a lot of people procrastinate. So we did some research on why is it that even though you know it's so important, why do people not do it? And 2 reasons popped out. One, I think we can all guess, cost, right? It's expensive to come in, speak to one of us and get your estate planning documents done. But the second reason is nobody wanted to go see an attorney, right? Nobody wakes up one day and says, I need to go do my estate planning. I need to go to the attorney's office, right? So we said, how do we solve both of these issues? And the easy answer, technology, right? A software. So NetLaw created a software that allows you to create your estate planning documents in the convenience of your home, at work, wherever you have about 30 minutes to an hour, so that you can create both yours and your spouse's estate planning documents. How did we do that? We went out from our law firm and we hired attorneys in all 50 states because we needed each lead attorney from that state to come in and build our software according to their state's rules and regulations. Now, every state has rules and regulations that have to be followed by the American Bar Association. You may know them as state-specific documents. That's usually the more common phrase, state-specific documents. So we developed our software to help clients create their documents, no matter where they live at now or wherever they move to in the future. You have the ability to use this software to create your state-specific legal documents according to the rules and regulations of your state. We created this software and we actually won the James Keene Award from the American Bar Association for our software. This award is very important because it is given out each year to the company that has the best online delivery of legal documents. I'll say that again. The best online delivery of legal documents, and still to this day, we are the only ones in estate planning to win this award. So, of course, we're very happy and proud to have won this award from the American Bar Association. So, you know, a lot of people ask me, well, shouldn't I go see an attorney if I want to create these? Do I really need to use the software? You can. And the American Bar Association said that if you are going to use a software, here's who we have given the James Keene Award to. And these are all of the documents that you get in our full premium probate avoidance package. And as you read down these, you may have heard of a lot of these documents, but we're going to talk about why these documents are so important. And as you can see on the screen, our price for all of this is $600, and it includes yours and your spouse's documents. So both spouses have the ability to create all of these documents at a very low cost. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's go through these documents and really get into the fact of why you need each and every one of these documents. One thing to remember is this is not a la carte system like other softwares. We don't allow you to come in and just pick the ones that you want. Why? Because you need all of these documents. This is a full comprehensive plan. So let's start with the document at the top, the last will and testament. And one key thing to remember is that if you all can mute yourself, that would be great. Thank you. So the one key thing to remember is a lot of people always say will and trust, right? And a lot of people just assume that it's one document, but your will and your trust are two separate documents that do two totally different things. So your will, there's 4 reasons why we do our will. 1, we're going to name executors. Your executors are probably the most important people that you'll name, because when you are an executor of an account, you're going to handle a lot of things. You're going to make sure that all of the bills are paid, all of the creditors are paid. You're going to make sure that all of the assets get to the beneficiaries. You're going to make sure that if there's any underage children, that they get to the guardians. So your executors play a very large role when it comes to fulfilling your estate plans. Not only do you name a main executor, but you get to list alternate executors as well. So if the first person that you name can't do it, you always have backups, right? The one thing to remember, you have to at least name one person from your state, either as your main person or your alternates. Every state almost always recommends that you have one person from the state that you live in. So, number 1, executors. Number 2, guardians. If you have underage children, that means any children under the age of 18, and something happens to you and your spouse, who's going to take care of your children, right? We need to make sure, again, that we list guardians. Here's who's going to take care of my children if something happens to me and my spouse. And then again, just like the executors, you get to list alternates as well. Definitely making sure that one of those people are from your state in case something unexpected happens, they can take over right away. Number 3, we call it specific bequest. But what that simply means is we are going to list all of our assets and who those beneficiaries are, making sure that we have everything listed and we know who those beneficiaries are. And the last reason is the second line item there, the children's trust. And even though it has trust in the name, you're going to find this in your will and in your trust. This is where, as parents of underage children, you get to decide at what age your child will receive their inheritance. Now, if we do nothing and both parents pass away, once that child turns 18, they receive their full inheritance. And let's stop and think about what that could be. The house, the cars, bank accounts, life insurance policies, 401ks. It is very easy to think that they could be receiving $500,000 to $1 million at age 18. Now let's stop and think about back when we were age 18. What would we have done if we just received $1 million? I don't know about you, but I would have blown through it, right? I wouldn't have been thinking about, contacting a financial agent and saying, hey, I have to save for the future, right? I'm 18. I'm going to blow through that. But with the children's trust, you get to dictate how much of their inheritance they receive and at what age. And you can take that out all the way up to age 35 if you want, protecting them from themselves. And that's what the children's trust does. Third line item is our durable financial power of attorney. I think we all know what that is, right? Our POA. Naming someone who can make our financial decisions for us if we can't do so for ourselves. This is a living document, not a death document. Your power of attorney only has the ability to help you make decisions if you can't, as long as you're alive. So having someone who can come in and pay our bills, vote stocks, making sure that everything from a financial perspective is taken care of. That's the job of our power of attorney. The next 3 documents are our healthcare documents, and this is part of the comprehensive plan. Not only taking care of your finances, but taking care of your healthcare decisions as well. Your healthcare surrogate is your medical POA. Who's going to speak to the doctors and nurses on your behalf, making sure that they know exactly what needs to be done. Your HIPAA authorization is a form that allows any person to see your medical charts or any kind of mental health information. If you ever went to see a psychiatrist, you could see your psychology notes. And the last one is your advanced directives. These are your end of life decisions. What do you want to happen at end of life? Do you want to be hooked up to a machine or no? Would you like an autopsy or no? questions that are asked that you need to answer so you stay in full control of all of your decisions, right? This is why we do this, keeping us in control and no one else. We even have a pet trust, so if you're a pet lover, great. You can leave money behind for the care of your animal. And then the last document, the revocable living trust. Remember I said we were going to keep the will and trust separate? Well, we are. Because the will, remember, is where we went and listed everything. Who our executors were, who our guardians were, what assets we have and who those beneficiaries are, and when our children receive their inheritance. We're listing everything in the will. Your trust, think of it as a holding document. The reason that we create our revocable living trust is so that we can actually transfer our major assets like our homes, cars, vacation homes, rental properties, businesses. We can transfer those assets out of our individual name and into the name of the trust. Now, why do we want to do that? Why do we want the trust to be the owner of those accounts? Because any asset that's in a trust avoids probate. Shyaml talked about that when she went through probate. Up to 2 years. That means all of your assets are frozen. Nothing gets transferred to your beneficiaries until the probate process is over. Having those assets in the name of the trust avoids probate and gets passed to your beneficiaries right away. How important is that, right? Because one thing that people really don't realize is if you pass away and you're trying to get your house to your kids, but it's through probate, well, guess what the kids have to do? They still have to pay that mortgage. Even though they don't receive the property, that mortgage still has to be paid every month. Where are they going to get that money? What if they already have a house? Now they have 2 mortgages and they still can't get the house to sell it. So again, the will, and I get, this is why I'm going back over this, because this is one of the questions that I get all the time. What's the difference between will and trust? Do I need both? The will, you're listing everything for the court system. Here's who my guardians are. Here's who my executors are. Here's when my children receive their inheritance. Here's all of my assets and who's going to get them. That's what the will does. Your trust is the only document that will keep those major assets out of the court system and allows those assets to get passed to the beneficiaries right away. That's the difference. So if you ask me, do I need both? Absolutely. Absolutely. You need all these documents. And we even have a 7-day money back guarantee. So if you try it out, for any reason you're not happy, just let us know. As long as you haven't downloaded any of your documents, we'll give you your money back. $600 covers all of this for both spouses. Now, if you come and see us in our law office, this starts at about $3,500. And I always get the question, why is it so inexpensive? We've already paid the attorneys. The attorneys have already done the work. They've created the software that you're going to use. There are no attorney fees. There's nothing. You're paying for the software to create your documents for you and your spouse. Not only do you get to create your documents, but you get to edit your documents at any time free of charge. So if you go through and you create all your documents and a year later you need to change something, great. Just log back into your account, change your document. Just remember, if you change anything, you have to print it out and get it witnessed and notarized again. But having the ability to create and edit your documents at any time, such an advantage. Because let's say you go through an attorney and you get your documents done and you pay, let's just say minimum $3,000. But something happens a year later and you need to change your document. We have to go back to the attorneys. That's going to cost another $400 or $500 per document. Over and over and over again. Not with this system. You log into your account, You update what needs to be updated, print it out, get it witnessed and notarized, you're done. So we talked about why all of these documents are important, and hopefully you learned something about those documents. That's always goal number one for me. I want everyone to walk away at least learning one thing that they didn't know today. But the last 4 slides that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll answer any questions that you have. What happens if I'm like most Americans and I still procrastinate on this? Who's going to get my assets? Now, I know most of you are probably from India. Here's what happens in India. You pass away, everything goes to the spouse, then the kids. Pretty easy. Not here. So the only legal term that I'll use today is intestate. And intestate simply means that you passed away and you did not create a will. So, like the US likes to do, the government gets involved. And what the government says is, okay, you didn't create a will. You didn't tell us how you wanted your assets distributed, so we're going to do it for you. Every state has intestate laws. In Kentucky, where I'm from, if I passed away without a will, all of my individually owned assets that I owned just by myself, 50% goes to my spouse, 50% goes to my kids. No questions asked. In most states, it's a 50-25-25 split. 50 to the spouse, 25 to the kids, the other 25% to your next closest living relative. It could be brothers and sisters, mom and dad if still alive, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, but the court system will dictate who and what assets they get. This is where all that family fighting happens. We've heard about it all the time. Mom and dad pass away, the kids start fighting over everything. And then they don't talk for 10 years. This is why. Usually, there was no will. So having this, and remember when I said it keeps you in control of everything? Well, this is what we're talking about. We are dictating what assets you have, and who's getting it. And this is always the first thing that I talk about with my clients, unless I know they have children under the age of 18. Then this is the first thing that I lead with. If you didn't create a will, you didn't name a guardian, something happens to mom and dad, a judge will come in and decide who gets custody of your kids. A judge. Now there's, 24 of us on here. I can almost guarantee that all 24 of us will agree that they do not want a judge making that decision. We know who's best to raise our kids. Not only who has custody of our kids, but that's the same person that's going to be in control of their inheritance until they turn 18. This is why it's so important. We talked about avoiding probate. Probate, very bad word. Nobody wants their beneficiaries going through probate. It's very time consuming. It's very expensive. Most of the time you have to go to court, or your attorney will go to court for you. And like I said, it keeps everything locked up in the court system and not being generated and distributed to your beneficiaries. Nobody wants that. And let's think about who our beneficiaries are usually. Surviving spouse, kids, grandkids. People that we do not want them going through probate, right? This is why we do this. My last slide, then I'll answer any questions that you have. Don't skip out on the medical documents. These documents are very, very important and will play a key role for you if you have anyone who, is up in later life and they can't make decisions for themselves. This allows that family member or family friends to come in and work with the doctors and nurses to make sure that you get the care that you wanted. Again, a full comprehensive plan, protecting assets, protecting the kids, protecting your medical decisions, making sure that you stay in control of everything. So this was net law and estate planning 101. So, you know, a lot of people think that this is very hard. It's time consuming, but it's really not. Our software is designed for you to create all of these documents for you and your spouse within usually 30 to 45 minutes. And we have a great customer service team. Now, what I will say is, if it's Shyaml or Surender, whoever you're going to use to create these documents, they're a great resource too. Go to them first. But if you need us, we have a full staff of customer service agents that can help you answer any questions that you need. So I don't know if I'm going to turn it back to Shyaml or Surender, but I'm going to turn it back to one of you. And if there's any questions that anybody has, we can go ahead and answer those now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark, for the nice presentation. Yeah, all audience, please feel free to ask your questions. Not many, but at least 5 minutes we can wrap it out. And if you have like some bothering questions or anything, please ask in presence, so that Mark can address that questions.
Hi Surendra, hi Mark, this is Sai here. Are you
Hi.
able to hear?
Yes. I can hear you. Yeah.
So I have like 3 scenarios. Hopefully it doesn't take time. The presentation is really good. So the first question is, we are all from India, right? That's been taken. Some
Right.
people may stay here once the spouse is alive or so after death, right? So in case of if any spouse is dead on death, they move to India. What happens to all the assets, even having that living trust?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's answer that one first, because you know, I know you said you have 3 scenarios. Just that answer there is 2 scenarios. So let's answer that first. So if, let's say, husband or wife passes away, the surviving spouse moves back to India. Now, 2 scenarios. One, they move back to India, but they keep all of their assets here. Hey, that's fine. Keep their U.S. wills and trust and all of these documents, you keep them here. So that takes care of all of the assets that they still have here. But let's say that they move back to India, they sell everything off. They have no U.S. assets, then they don't need these documents. They would just go back to India and create just a will over there, and that should be good enough.
Okay. So if they don't sell it off, the trust will still go on. We appoint some, and it can go in the background. Okay,
Yeah,
that's one.
Absolutely.
Second scenario, today, if I create a living trust, right? I need to move all my banks and make the living trust as a beneficiary. Okay. And what about the loans, like home loans or something like that? How will it impact me on day-to-day life?
Yeah. So your mortgage, all of that will stay in your individual name. Mortgage companies will not put the mortgage in the name of a trust. So any kind of loans or debt will stay in your individual name. Credit cards, anything like that. That's going to stay in your name. What I would do is at the bank, you could put you could go down to the bank and put a named beneficiary or a TOD on your bank account, and then because a couple things to remember: anything that has a named beneficiary on it will avoid probate automatically. Life insurance, 401k. If you have a named beneficiary in your bank, all of those will avoid probate automatically and be passed to your beneficiaries. Now, things that will not avoid probate, the ones that I said: home, cars, vacation homes, rental properties, businesses, they don't have named beneficiaries on it. That's why those assets need to be put into the trust.
Got it. Okay, maybe I'll look into more into that. The last one is, if the guardian who's taking care of my son is not in this country, maybe India or somewhere else,
Yeah.
how this will play out once we have the trust.
Well, that's why it's so important to make sure that you name someone over here. Because let's say you and your spouse are in a car wreck. God forbid, you're in a car wreck, both of you pass away. The person that is your guardian that you listed is in India. How fast can they get over here? But if you have someone listed in your documents from the state that you're in, they can go grab the kids right away, then work with your mom and dad or whoever the guardian is in India to make sure that that transfer happens without the kids going through the court system, foster care, anything like that. That's why it's so important to make sure that we have someone local that can take care of stuff right away if the unexpected happens.
Thank you, Mark. So I would like to answer a few of Sai's question. Sai, so you know my similar situation, right? I've gone through the similar situation, and I'm a co-buyer of my house. So mortgage is on my husband's name, the property and everything. Even when I went to the court and showed them my documents, still they asked me and my mortgage company, they did not reveal the information about the mortgage, like how much it is left or whatever. I mean, I'm not able to access any information because my spouse was primary. So they asked me the legal document, do you have a will or do you have any other supporting legal document? So even though I was there in the property document, still I was not, allowed to access anything. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. So on the
You
third
probably had to buy the house over again too, into your name. Right.
So on the third scenario, if somebody I could not find local because I'm in IT, the job keeps moving. We might go to different places.
Right.
We don't have relatives because we moved in. We are the first immigrant maybe from our family. So in that case, how do we get through a local before our family comes in? I don't know if my family will be able to come here. Some people who are some other than India, maybe they can come here, but nobody is able to come.
Yeah.
Right away.
If you don't, then you just name as many people as you can, and hopefully they can get over here right away. Worst case scenario, the child will go through the court system for a little bit until they can get over here.
Thank you, Mark, for answering my question.
Thank you.
Surenderji, we can get the immediate visa also in certain scenarios, right?
Yes, actually, with the supporting documents, they can have the visa slot separately. They can consider that one. 1 day then in emergency.
Yeah. Maybe we can all mute ourselves, please.
Yeah. Any further questions or anything? Otherwise, we can close the call.
Yeah.
Hi, Surender. Hi, Mark. I have a question actually.
Yeah.
Do you have time? 1 minute?
Absolutely.
Just I have one scenario. If someone has two kids, so one kid is already 18. So how it will work? One is 18, one is under 18.
Yeah. So, as far as, 18, they could, your 18-year-old can be your executor, guardian of the minor children. But usually it works the same way. They're usually just going to be the beneficiaries. Everything can be split between the two kids once you and your husband pass away. So there's nothing really that matters because one kid is 18 or not. You just have to remember that once the one child that is over age 18, you don't have to worry about guardians or anything like that because they're a legal adult.
Okay. So still you don't want, you want or you don't want one local guardian, you don't want that in that case?
Well, I would always want that because,
you need a mature person.
Yeah, if you have let's say you have an 18-year-old and a 11-year-old, right? I really don't want my 18-year-old being the guardian of my 11-year-old, right?
Right.
I get that he's 18, but let's be honest, there's no way that I could have taken care of my brother.
Right. We can't.
Right. So we always have to make that the best decision.
Local guardian, local guardian, permanent guardian.
Yeah. Because probably the 18-year-old, he's not going to have a house. He may be going to college. So he's not going to have a job probably. There's no way to take care of that, right? So always, that's why we always look for the best option.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. In addition
Thank
to
you.
that, Lopa always, even though they're 18, 21, doesn't matter, they may not able to take care and all the things, right?
Right.
So we need to have
Yeah.
a guardian along with them. So you can you can add here multiple people, right? All
Right.
the
Right.
along with
Right.
your
Right.
kid, that they'll be secure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey Mark, I have one question.
Mhm.
I'm not very clear 100% on the differences between will and trust. So in will we give the the beneficiary names for the assets, and in the trust I think we give the guarantor or the guardians for the minor children, etc.
So in the will, you're listing who's going to be in charge, your executors. In the will, you're listing who the guardians of your minor children are going to be. In the will, you're listing all of your assets and who those beneficiaries are. In the trust, you're just transferring those major assets into the name of the trust. So usually doing a deed transfer. So right now you have a deed to your house. What you would do is you could go down to the county clerk's office, a title company, and just create a new deed in the name of the trust. That's all you have to do. We have funding instruction sheets that walk you through how to do it as well.
Let's say if something both happen, both parents, happens to both of them, and then if they need, let's say even though we have the guardians in place, and is it without I don't know how it works in both ways, like in will and trust. I heard something, if you don't have trust and you only have will, and then the kids cannot be given to the guardians immediately. It might take some time.
Trust has nothing. Yeah, your trust has nothing to do with the guardians. Only your will has to do with the guardians. The trust, the only thing the trust does is hold those assets in the trust name, so that when you die, it gets transferred to your beneficiaries. That's all it does.
I see.
Your will absolutely make sure that your kids go to the guardians right away.
Okay, there is no a time gap for the kids to go.
No. All the guardians have to do is show up to court, show them the copy of your will, and they get custody.
Okay, so I think if I understand correctly, the trust only is kind of a mediator between the assets distribution, as per your.
You can look at it like that. Yep. Yeah. The only thing the trust does is get those assets to your beneficiaries right away without going through the court system.
Yeah, at the same time, Geeta, here we are offering all the packages within a very minimal fees, as Mark mentioned, like $600. It is including everything. But right now we are offering for this week, if you sign up for the only $300, we are offering same package.
Oh wow!
Where you need not to worry about the will and trust. We are going to have all the package, like for your spouse, for your pets, HIPAA, the power of attorney, everything will be included for the both of you, where you need not to worry about the other things.
Thanks for the clarification, Surender. Yeah, I just wanted to know the differences.
Yeah, a lot of times, including everyone, including me, I was under confusion, will is sufficient or not, a lot of things, right? That is the reason we are conducting these sessions, where we are offering everything with a single minimal price, so that you can have the proper documentation for your protection for your family.
You brought this up. Is there any annual fees or something like that associated with just one-time fee?
No, this is for the lifetime one-time fee.
And then how often, if you want to change the do or make some changes?
Yeah, how many times you want to change, you can change. The only thing is you have to notarize, based on the requirement of the documentation, you have to notarize and keep the documentation in the safe place. But however, I am the notary public from the Virginia. If you are taking from us, for the will and trust, we can, as a courtesy, means as a promotion, we are offering that free notary service also too.
So, Surenderji, someone asked, okay, Fabiola, we answered to her question about the annual fees. And then someone asked, can we include assets located outside of USA? Did we answer to her question?
Yeah, so you can. Yeah, so you can list your foreign your foreign assets into your U.S. will. Of course, we're going to recommend that you create a will from wherever the property lies as well, because you still, whether it's in our will and trust or not, you still have to follow the rules of wherever the property lies. What you would be doing is just listing it in your will, just telling your executors, hey, not only do I have my houses here in the US, I have properties overseas as well, so nothing gets missed.
Thanks, Mark. So that means you have to have a separate will. That will be great always. And this, our document here, whatever you are preparing, that will be used usually as a backup, like supporting documents. It can be work.
So we have a question from Sudha.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mark, for the amazing personalized presentation, I would say, and thanks, Shyaml and Surender garu. I have one question. At times, my clients ask, what they ask is, okay, both the parents pass away. How will the government know that they have will and trust, or what is the first step?
Yeah. So
towards.
So one of the roles of your executor is to file your will and trust with the state. They can do that at the county records department, and that's actually what alerts everyone. When you pass away, the hospitals will report all of that to the states. It goes into a federal database that you passed away. So people know.
In addition to that, Sudha, so immediately what we are educating here is the executor is supposed to know. If the person is preparing a will and trust, the executors and successor executors are supposed to know they are in the part of the will of this so and so family. So something happened to me. For example, I am preparing my documentation. I am immediately informing to my executors that, hey, you are my executor. Something happened to me. You have to take care of these things. So I am one soft copy, one hard copy. I am handing to him, so that in future something needed, he is going to take care.
So basically, once that happens and your executor takes charge of it, so what would be the first step he would be doing is he would be going to the county records and filing it. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, that's usually the first thing that happens. Not right away, but usually within a week or so, you have the responsibility to go file it with the county records department. That's usually when it gets filed, about a week later.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because you still have to wait for the death certificate.
I see. Okay. And I just have one more question. So some of them have LLCs and they, whatever real estate properties they may have in another states, not the primary residence. In the other states, the real estate house is in the name of the LLC. So how to include that in the will and can we add it in the specific bequest, the LLC?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and list that LLC, and then that way that any properties in that LLC are automatically included.
And also, do we have how we transfer our assets in the name of the trust like that? Do we have to transfer the LLC into the name of the trust as well?
It's a good idea too. It's just as easy, for your LLC. You could just go to the company that created your LLC and just change the name of the LLC to the Revocable Living Trust name. And that's all you have to do.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Tanuja. Till when this promotion is going on? $300.
Usually after this session, 1 week, Tanuja. Never mind. You can meet Shyaml or me, so we can coordinate.
All right. So
Yeah.
okay, we have one question. In case of the title of the house is under the name of only spouse, is okay only with the will? I'm not sure.
Not
Fabi?
really.
I think what she's saying is the deed of the house is just in one person's name, not both spouses. So in that case, if you want to keep it separate, for the house, you wouldn't put that in your trust. I would recommend everybody get will and trust, because you may want to put your cars in there. You may want to put your life insurance policies in there if you choose. You may get a house later in life and want to put it into your trust. So it doesn't hurt to have both will and trust for both spouses created. Whether you have any assets in there or not, you may have it at a later date.
So one question, this is Sai again. So what happens if I create a trust or in Oregon state and then again move to different state? Do I need to keep changing my trust?
Yes.
Okay.
Because every document is different in every state.
Okay, and what would be the cost apart from notarizing and attestation?
Nothing. You just log back into your account and create the documents for the new state.
The beauty of this one is this package is for the lifetime side. So if you move, yes, if you something life changing is happening in your life, yes, buying house, selling house, and moving, and some kids are coming out, and some kids are becoming adults. So every aspect of those changes can be addressed here without charge.
Thank you, Surender.
You're welcome, sir. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we are about to close the session.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark, for your time and giving the valuable insights within the will and trust. So thank you to everyone, all the audience. So please make sure to have protect your family immediately. And this don't think about what is the differences and all. Anyhow, same document will work for everything. So this package is we are offering for some time like $300 per only. Don't wait for the don't wait for this simple document also. And also after this, we are offering after the taking this package, the process is very simple. Within like 1 hour, half an hour to 1 hour, you can complete. We can help. Thank you, Mark. Anything you would like to add? Please go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, no, just remember to reach out to Shyaml or Surender. We do not sell this to the public, so it has to come through a financial advisor. So whoever invited you here, get with them, and they have all the information to get you started.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, Surender. Yeah. Thank you
so much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending this session and allowing us to present the net law, will and trust, revocable trust. Whoever has the question, please contact me or Surender ji. With this note, we would like to end our session. Thank you everyone once again. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, Shyaml. Thank you, Surender.
you.
Bye. Take care.